Hello, I'm Dr. Red Bull, and in this video I'm going to concentrate on the relationship between the Renault engine manufacturer and the Red Bull. And in this video I'm going to touch on the sort of difficulties which they're having, a sort of overview what's happened since the pre-season starts. But if you look back on history, Renault and Red Bull have had a good sort of marriage. They've won 4 championships together. And on top of that, the 4 drivers' championships. They were second in '09. So Renault have been pretty good to Red Bull, let's say. But unfortunately, with the drop down to the V6 engines, Renault are slightly a bit behind, which I'm sure won't be forever. But very very interestingly, with this drop down to the V6 engines, it was surprisingly Renault who were more interested in it, and essentially the engine manufacturers, so Renault, Mercedes, I don't think Ferrari maybe, it might have been, but I don't know, but it was mainly Renault and Mercedes. They were saying, look, we need to change these engines to make them more relevant to them and to give them a sort of new challenge, so they can apply them to the road cars as well. As well as the F1 cars. So they needed a new sort of challenge, and effectively they said to F1, FIA, whatever, if we don't get this change, we may consider leaving. So we got the change, and on behold, unfortunately Renault are the worst ones so far, as we enter this new sort of era. That's quite typical actually, because usually when you drop down an engine, whoever enjoys success under the previous engine formula, so you got to agree that in the V8 era, Renault were pretty good out of all the manufacturers, even though they were relatively close, because there was such a freeze on the regulations for a long time. You got to say Renault got the better of them, the V8, and historically, when there's an engine change, the one who dominated the previous era tends to drop back down, and that's what Renault did. There's been a lot of lies, well, not lies as such, but a lot of keeping quiet, which Renault have been doing. They haven't been completely honest, and that's been admitted by Red Bull and Renault themselves. They come out and said they haven't been too honest, but now they've admitted their sort of, I wouldn't say failures, but their sort of sluggish sort of start with this new engine, and they've been making great inroads. I would say they've been progressive from race upon race upon race. The interesting thing is you cannot do much with the engines right now, the V6 engines, because there's like a frozen rule. The only time you can make a change to the engine is if you apply to the FIA and say, look, can we do this, and it's got to be on the grounds of reliability and I think the other one's safety, like to do with the engine's safety or cost or something like that, I can't remember, but it cannot be a performance change. So at the moment the Renault engine is pretty frozen. They have made some significant changes. Lotus got a new engine in China, Red Bull got a new engine in Bahrain, and it has worked to some extent. However, there is a deficit compared to the Mercedes engine, which is they're losing 7/10 on the straight to them. So that's why it's clear to see that the Renault engine ain't that great. But back to the point that the engine rules are frozen, so none of the manufacturers can make significant changes. There are ways around it. There are very clever sort of loopholes which you can get around it, but nothing. There's nothing you can do significantly to improve the engines now. You know, they're kind of locked in. Another area which you need to look at is are we getting 100% out of the engine with Renault? No, they're not. No, sorry, no, they're not. They were using 60% of the power at the start of the year, and they're confident that by the Bahrain, pardon me, not the Bahrain race, the Canadian race in Montreal, they're confident that they'll be getting 100% out of the engine, like Mercedes and Ferrari. I think Ferrari, all right. I know Mercedes are pretty much near 100%. So yeah, they're targeting Canada to get the full appliance out of the engine, compliance even, and yeah, so hopefully that should make the Red Bull a little bit more better, and Lotus, the other Renault teams too. So yeah, so and the next races you got Spain, you got Monaco, and that isn't engine power. No, engine power isn't the most important thing between for those tracks. So they've got a big sort of period, they've got a month until the Monaco Canadian Grand Prix, where power is important, and then you got Silverstone, haven't you, after that, or was it Austria, and when you got the power tracks again. So yeah, they're hoping to get 100% out of the engine. Fingers crossed they can for Monaco. I keep saying Monaco, Montreal. So hopefully they can do that. So that will improve Red Bull's deficit on the straights. Fingers crossed. And yeah, let's hopefully they can sort it out. Interestingly, it's kind of came out. Dr. Helmut Marko Lauda sort of hinted how much horsepower Mercedes have got. If you listen to what they're saying, if there's any truth in that, it turns out there's an 80 horsepower deficit between the two engines, between Renault and the Mercedes powered engine. I think it's either 70 or 80 HP difference. I can't remember. I think it might be 70, so you might want to stick with that number. And so clearly they're disadvantaged by that, by sheer horsepower. However, that's not the greatest worry. A lot of people think, oh, they're down on horsepower, they're buggered, any Renault power cars. That's not the be all end all. Sure, you've got to have horsepower for sure, definitely you've got to have that, but Red Bull last year were winning races with a Renault engine with a 30 horsepower deficit to the Mercedes engine. So it's not always down to the horsepower, please bear that in mind. A lot of people think, oh, it's all about horsepower. That's not true. If you're clever with your mapping, which Red Bull have been very clever with, and that's why their mapping was a bit controversial and it was investigated, which turned out to be completely fine, although they did run into problems in 2012, I believe. They got told to change their mapping, but anyway, the point is, if you're clever with your mapping, you don't need too much horsepower. You can work in with a 30 HP margin deficit, but obviously 80, 70 is a little bit too much, which is the current state right now. So yeah, just remember that, and the fact that Red Bull were winning races with a 30 HP deficit. Looking to the future, will Red Bull ever finish the relationship with Renault? For those who are clued up on this, on what's happening with Red Bull, they do have 2 years left on their contract with Renault, so that will take you to 2016, I think. Up until 2016, I think they got a contract with. However, they can pull out that if they want to, but they can do that only under performance. There's a clause in the contract that if the engine is not delivering the performance which it should be, which it isn't at the moment, they can pull out of it. So a lot of people saying, oh, they can't breach their contract, blah 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 blah, but they can if they want to, because they've got the performance joker card, ace card, or whatever you want to call it, under the sleeve. Do I think they will pull out and get a new manufacturer? Probably not. Not this year, not next year. I very much doubt Red Bull will ever be powered by a Mercedes engine. A lot of people have said that they're going to get the Mercedes engine. They could afford it for sure. They can afford this lucrative offer. They can make them a lucrative offer, but that's never going to happen, because they've got a Mercedes works team in Formula One. Are they seriously going to give the best engine to Red Bull? Red Bull. I bet from Red Bull. Are they seriously going to give an engine to Red Bull? Probably not. No. Especially when they've got a works team and they want their works team to win. So it's obviously they won't. People say, because Mercedes provide four customer teams, don't they? That works, and then there's 3 others. Things like the package which they give to McLaren and Force India and Williams, that sort of Mercedes engine package is slightly different to the ones the work teams have. The work team gets the best and most update version of the package. So and there's no way they're going to make Red Bull a customer team. I'll be very, very shocked if that does happen, because Red Bull do produce the best chassis, and with the best chassis with the best engine, you know, we're back in 2013 again, or 2011. So I very much doubt that will happen. They won't, because they'll be shooting themselves in the foot by making their works team lose out. Ferrari overpower Red Bull? Probably, could do. I could see that happening, but then again, you're in the same sort of scenario with a works team. Probably not. Ferrari got their own works team, obviously, in Formula One, and then you got the return of Honda, which is the only conceivable sort of replacement for Renault, I think. 2015 they are binding to McLaren only, so they'll just be producing for McLaren, and then next year they'll be open up to teams. So if it was to be Honda, that will not be until 2016. And what happens in 2016? The Renault contract is expired with Red Bull, so maybe, who knows. And that's pretty much it with this video. I just wanted to touch on a little bit of info, a little bit of update that Renault are hoping to get 100% out of their engine come Canada, and the fact that it's not too bad having too much horsepower. I just wanted to get those points across in that video, and I hope you've enjoyed it. Give the video a like, drop a comment if you want to add anything to it. If any of my facts are wrong, I'm pretty sure I'm right, I'm the doctor, of course, you know. And yeah, give the video a like, subscribe if you already haven't, and hopefully I'll see you in the next video. And I don't know if you can see my t-shirt, but I've got this really cool t-shirt which I want to show you. I got it from Red Bull, I love it. It's the Wings for Life thing they do it every year. It's a t-shirt, £20 on their website. I like it, it's a cool design. Apparently Vettel did it, so yay for that, I'm definitely going to get that. The money goes to charity. They do, it's dedicated, they're very dedicated to spinal cord, sort of cancer sort of stuff. They're very much committed to that. They've been doing it for a number of years now. I don't know the story behind it, why they focus on the spinal, but anyway, completely different matter, but I just want to show off my t-shirt there. So guys, hopefully I'll see you in the next video. I hope you have a nice day, have a nice weekend, and hopefully I'll be seeing you. I'll hopefully do a couple more videos during the week next week, and then obviously we've got the Spanish Grand Prix, which I'll be covering, fingers crossed. And yeah, have a nice day, see you.